Hey gang, Rick with Let's Level Up. We're here at the West Texas Tabletop Convention, here talking with Miss Anne-Marie DeWitt of Fireside Games about her new game, Village Crone. Anne-Marie, thank you so much for your time.
No, absolutely. Yeah. This is a great convention.
It's so fun. This is the first year we've done this thing. We've had a lot of really cool experiences just in this first year. Next year's going to be even bigger, which is really cool. Yeah. And it's just nice to know that this is the seed that may one day develop into something really, really big, which is cool. In little old West Texas.
I know.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And it's so cool. You guys are just right down the road, really.
Yeah.
In Texas, 3 hours away is right down the road.
Exactly.
But it's such a fun time. Can you tell me a little bit about Village Crone?
Absolutely. So Village Crone is a worker placement resource management game with spellcasting. I love witches. I've always loved witches growing up, especially the fairy tale version. So I set this in a medieval scene, and each person gets to be the witch, or one of the witches in the game. So you can see the witches have their own familiars. This is Beatrix, and so she has the rats as her familiar. And so each witch sends familiars out to the different locations on the board to gather ingredients. And the ingredients are used in spells that you cast to achieve your witch's schemes. So you have levels 1, 2, and 3, and that indicates the level of difficulty. It also indicates how many points you score when you achieve those schemes. Mm-hmm. So, and you want to be the first witch to 13 points to become the Village Crone.
Awesome. Yeah. And what I've really loved about this game, even in the few turns I got to play last night, you just nailed the themes just so perfectly.
Oh, thank
and that's one thing that your organization always seems to do. Is how important is it to get that theme right, for you guys?
Absolutely essential. For us, it's about the experience of the play. And so we really want to have mechanics that support that experience. And Justin and I differ a little bit in our approach to design. He tends to, he'll go either way, starting with theme or mechanics. But very often, lately, he'll start with a mechanic he's really interested in and think about, what experience really evokes that mechanic the best. And then I usually approach it from a thematic point of view. What do I want to feel like I'm doing? And what mechanics help express that experience?
Yeah, I think you and I share the same design methodology there with that idea. To me, it's usually the theme that comes first. I'm like, okay, well now what can I do with these characters, or what can I do with these players or pieces to make the players feel like they're really in this world now?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think you've done that beautifully in Village Crone.
Oh, thank you.
Whenever your teaser came out, that first little video that you had announcing it, I was really, really excited about this.
Oh, good.
I really like witches. I love witchcraft. Yeah. When I was a kid, I tried to pierce my own ear because I was that kind of, a little too much information maybe for everybody out there. But, I've always been a fan of that whole mini universe, and it's just so fascinating to me. So when are we going to be able to see Village Crone on store shelves?
It'll be September 16th. It hits the warehouse this Friday, and we're in communication with the freight forwarder, and it's right on track.
Awesome. So just a few weeks away. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, let's so what are some of the things, or maybe strategies, or how do you see a lot of people playing this? Because when we were playing last night, there were so many times where I had this whole thing planned and I wanted to do, and then in 2 turns, my whole plans had to change. Yeah. And I had 3 different objectives to be able to pick from, so it was good to be able to have those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what do you see a lot of players doing whenever you're demoing this?
Yeah. So I tried to build in multiple ways that you can achieve different things. And so there's kind of a straight up way of playing where you're playing with spells specifically, and then there are schemes that require specific spells to be used, and you do need to use those. But the more the villagers are messed with, and they're moved around on the board, and locations are bound, and other people are in love, and now they're frogs, you have to think about what is the most efficient way in using other spells to get the board to a place that you can cast the spells that the schemes require. So I really see this as a game that requires imagination on the parts of the players.
It really does. That's a great way to put it, because last night I was thinking, oh no, they just did something I completely didn't want to have happen. Oh, but wait, I've got this other card, and I can do these 3 moves here and then get in there, which is really cool that there's so much. There's so many ways to complete my objectives, while also so many ways to hinder everybody else in a way that's not confrontational directly, which is hard to do, I think.
Yeah. And then I did build in a protection spell that, if you want to directly protect and stop a spell from happening, you can do that. But then you can protect against a protection spell also. So it doesn't guarantee that you're going to block that spell every time. So.
Oh, man.
And then there's also the scattering mechanic, where if you want to keep someone from achieving something, you can bind a location and keep their familiars from coming in. And I started off talking about scattering. With the scattering, you can
6
only
or
have,
more familiars, right?
Yeah, well, it
or
depends
6
on,
familiars.
Well, it depends on the number of players.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
if you have 2 players, each location can support only 2 familiars.
Oh,
so you can move in a 3rd familiar, and then that forces the starting villager to return to that location, and the other 2 have to return to the village green. So,
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah, and then you're mentioning bind now, so you can actually bind a location to kind of seal in everybody that's there. Those people can't be attacked. And
exactly. Yeah. So like if I had the blacksmith and the peasant here at the village green, I could use the binding spell, put the binding ring around them, and now they can't be moved out of the village green, and no other villagers or familiars can move into the village green.
That's so awesome. Yeah, and the one thing is, it wouldn't be Fireside without excellent components.
Oh, thank you.
And it's just always so good. I think I tell that to Justin every time I see him. You guys have the best components. They're always. I'm never worried about my kids handling your components because I know they're gonna. They may have a little slobber on them. They're still going to play just fine the next day. Whereas there's other companies that I've played games with, and I play it as gently as I can, and then it's ruined.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's so good to have these nice thick components, and everything's so. I mean, the artwork is very, very low key, but it fits in with the theme as far as this old village where witches are coming to. And then you've got the spells that come in that really kind of bring color to everything, which I think is awesome. So.
Yeah, I have to give a shout out to Alex Fernandez. He was the artist on this, and he is a staff artist for Steve Jackson Games, and we talked with the folks over at Steve Jackson Games to make sure it was okay for him to moonlight, for the project. And he just did a phenomenal job. We couldn't be more pleased with it.
Yeah, it really did turn out. Alex, if you see this video, it's a very, very good job. Thank you. So can you talk a little bit, other than Village Crone, you guys have some other projects going on.
Yeah.
Dark Titan was just released for Castle Panic, but there's also an expansion coming out for Bears, which is one of my favorite dice games that there is.
Good.
So tell me a little bit about Trails Mix. So I guess what you can talk about.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it came out in June, actually.
Oh, okay.
And I know the game stores here in San Angelo haven't quite picked it up yet, but they are definitely
they are
planning on
available
purchasing.
everywhere. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they'll be picking it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll be able to pick that up. And with that, it's an oversized die that has 6 different faces, and each face puts a new play in, or a new rule in play. So you roll that to start the game, and whatever that face is, that's the new rule. Then you roll the camp dice, and then your player dice, and you play as you normally do with that new rule in effect. And some of the new rules are like safe and sound, and that allows you to protect 1 sleeper and tent. So even if bears are left over, you can score 5 points with one of your sleepers and tents.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And there's like twofer where you can pair up 2 bears per gun. And so a lot of people, the very first thing they start doing is start pairing up bears and guns because they are scoring an extra point. But really what that's about is scoring sleepers and then being able to protect those sleepers at a cheaper cost by pairing up more
genius.
Bears.
That's awesome. Yeah, cool. Is there anything else planned for bears? Is that going to be it for bears, or is there going to be more developed for it later?
I don't know. I want to see how the expansion goes. We are looking at different ways of expanding that. We really think Bears sells really well. We've sold almost 10,000 copies of the game since it came out, and so we're definitely going to keep it in print and keep supporting the game. But we want to see how Trail Mix does, and see if that's really hitting what gamers are looking for in that game, and look for the response and see if there's a different direction we want to go with the game. So,
cool. Well, awesome, man. I wish you so much luck with Village Crone and with Trail Mix and everything you guys do. I'm a huge fan of what you guys do, and thank you so much for your time, Anne-Marie.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.